We're going to go over the buyer under contract brain dump. And honestly, working with the TCs, we tried to make this as short as possible. We want you to be focused on the fact that your client is now under contract, and there's a lot that's going to be going on. And our TCs take as much as possible, as much information as possible from the contract itself to save you time. So keep in mind, a standard UAR EPSI for residential takes about a business day. They're going to get to it as quickly as they can, but there's a lot of details to pull out of the contract. If you're working with a new construction, it might take longer because new construction, as many of you have realized as you've worked with them, have a lot more forms. And they are all the production builders have all their own forms. So it might take some digging to find all of the information because it could be scattered all over the place, in contrast to a standard REPSI for a built standing where everything's pretty much all the same. So, be patient. Also, it is incumbent upon you as the agent to make sure that all of those builder contracts get sent to the transaction coordinator. Since we know the builder fills them out, our clients sign them, then the builder rep has to sign them, and it can take a couple of days. It's incumbent upon you to make sure that everything goes to the transaction coordinator. Okay, as always, your first name. Did the TC Services write an offer for this buyer? This is important because if they did, they're going to go back to that one to make sure how things worked out and make sure they've got everything ready. Is this a new construction, yes or no? And as I just mentioned, if it's yes, make sure all of the documents get sent to the transaction coordinator. Offer reference date. Put that offer reference date so that the transaction coordinator knows which offer they're working with. And then the details are going to be pretty short. Type of transaction, lead source or brokerment, MLS number, type of financing. So we know, again, if you mark FHA, VA, then we know to look for additional forms. And then it's buyer name and contact. I'm going to update that while you're all watching because, like we said, if there's only one buyer, then we don't want you to have to mess with that. Okay, seller name. Put the seller names in there. Additional contact information. Seller's agent name. If their seller's agent is not the primary contact from the interactions you've had with them, put down who should be. And if they have an assistant, if you know their contact. Buyer's title company, if you know it. By now, they should have already made that decision. If you don't mark anything, then Real Advantage Title is going to be considered the selection. And then if you have the contact information for buyer's title, seller's title, if you know it, buyer's mortgage company, tell us who their mortgage company is and their contact information so that we can be in contact with them. If there's any HOA contact information that's been shared with you. Is the lead-based paint disclosure included as required? Home inspection information. This helps us plan for the home inspection. Environmental testing, if you talk to them about that, so we know what to plan for. Home warranty. Choose the company if applicable. Are you the agent related? How are you related? Do you have the real estate license? Again, this goes back to our making sure there's a disclosure of interest if we need it. And that's it. We've tried to keep this one pretty simple. And then a reminder, I understand it's my responsibility to review all transaction documents. We need that contact information for all the major players right up front. All the rest of the information, as much information possible, we're going to be pulling off the contract. Now, if the contract's messy and it's going to take some time to sort. So get it in, get it to us as quickly as possible, and we'll get you going.